because of some departures. But what I'd like to do is try to schedule another date. Tammy and Charlene are not available Wednesday or Thursday.
I didn't say Wednesday,
Oh.
just Thursday. Just
Oh,
Thursday.
Wednesday, you guys have library.
We have library.
The Thursday is a no for you guys. Bill is away the 24th, and the guys are away at Good Roads on the 30th, I think, right?
Yeah.
So we'll probably have 1, 2, 3, probably 3 reports to be done. Any suggestions from anyone? I don't know if we want to wait another 2 weeks before to have those 3 reports done.
Is there any way to have them to tomorrow? To tomorrow's night, to
Tomorrow?
tomorrow night's meeting, to have those 3 reports?
What about next week?
Bill's gone.
Bill is gone.
All week?
Unless we wanted to extend. Tammy, does it look like we have a full schedule tomorrow night for a meeting?
No, we're just doing delegations, but it's a full meeting, but no delegations.
Yeah. So can you visualize a 40-minute meeting or a 45-minute meeting for council?
She has no idea.
No.
Sorry?
She has no idea how much we talk
It depends
about.
on how much we fight, Dave.
So
So probably an hour and a half.
do you want to attempt to try to do it tomorrow night after council? So that would mean whoever's left will have to come for council and stay.
If I'm not gonna guarantee I'll be here. So I think my wife's got a meeting tomorrow night, so I won't be here if that's the case. Can't guarantee it, I gotta have to check with her. If she's got one tomorrow, and Wednesday, both nights.
I've got my usual training on Tuesday.
I could probably come tomorrow night if need be.
I'm already coming.
So if we were to take Dale first this afternoon, and then, and you said you have training. Like what can we do with what can we do with Bob? Why don't we try to do this? Let's try to do tomorrow night. This afternoon, Dale, you can go first up. See where we go there, and then we'll try to do as much tomorrow night after the meeting. And then, if you're available or not, we'll fit you in. Okay, is that okay with you? Okay, Will, we left off. So you're going to check the figures? Not today. No. But take a look at those.
I think it's a waste of taxpayers' money from you guys paying me checks and all that. It's a 2024 budget. It's done and gone. I don't know how anybody else feels
I agree.
about that, but I just worked a little bit over lunch, and just in that little bit, your revenue's overstated by about 148,000, and your expenses are about the number here because I got it ready for and yeah, your revenues are overstated, and your expenses, well, depends on how you want to figure it out, but you either got to take all the water out on both sides, or leave the water in on both sides. Like you can't pick and choose what's in and what's out. Because in your revenue side, like you said, you're going to give me the 102. You're also up to 25,000 for the water and sewer, water and interest. You're out there on that. On the expenditure side, and then on the revenue side also, you're out 15,000 on your water reserve, and you're out 29,000 on, close to 30,000 on the area rate. That was supposed to cover, that was covering your status. So you can't pick and choose revenue and pick and choose your expenditures. You gotta have, you can't take them at one place and then say, well, God, they don't have any bearing down below, because they do, because look, that revenue and that expenditure relates to the water and sewer. So that changes the numbers quite a bit. And that's only 15. How long? Half an hour. So like that's just a half an hour. Looking at that. So yeah, I kind of said in my other presentation there about the number of eyes that look at my numbers before I come and talk to you guys or send anything to the ministry. There's a number of eyes looking at it. And I think before council gives out information to the public, especially financial, I also think that they should be double checked by staff to make sure that the numbers are accurate, and that we're comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges, because there's a big difference if you're on one side saying using cash numbers, and on the other side you're using PSAB numbers. There's a big difference, a huge difference.
Well,
So you got to be very careful.
I'm going to take what you said, and I'll plug the numbers in, and we can have a discussion after the fact. Okay. Is there anything else on your agenda?
Gotta get back to the notes. Hearing you guys talk, you guys have a council meeting tomorrow night? Is there room on the agenda to put a resolution to approve the financial statements tomorrow night?
And see why not?
Yes.
Is there any doubt that they're not going to be passed?
I don't see any.
No, that's why they want to be.
Oh, okay, because if there is any doubt, I have to ask for all the financial statements back.
Okay.
That I handed out. Just put your name on the front page there, I'll make sure you get your copy down.
No problem.
Okay, because it's just normally, I've never brought draft statements to this council, so I just want to make sure, because they can't be out in the public until for sure that they're passed.
I don't think anyone has any problems, do you?
No.
Okay, and if you wouldn't mind not showing them to anybody until after tomorrow night. Now the second thing on my list was I already answered it because I talked to Tyler Peters in the hall, so I'll be able to finish the FIR tomorrow, and that means then that the FIR can get submitted to the ministry before the end of the week. Okay, because I think as far as I know, Rory's checked the FIR other than those three numbers. So then we can we'll, I don't know whether it's upload or download to the ministry, plus copies of our financial statements. Okay. I guess Mr. Mayor, you'll get the county bylaw, the county tax rate bylaw. If you wouldn't mind, as soon as you get that, to forward it to Tammy, so so she can forward it to me. That way then, once I have that, then what I can do is, I have a tax rate, tax rate spreadsheet that I use for the calculation of the tax rates. So then, once I have the county, I have the schools, and then once I have the county put in, then you guys will be probably at that point to do budget scenarios with the tax rate. Okay, so if I can update that, and we'll go from there with that. And Carl?
Yeah, not till the end of April. We'll-
Okay, that's fine. Soon as you get it set, if you
Yeah.
don't mind, just giving them
Yeah.
to Tammy,
Yeah.
so that I can have them.
Yep.
It's more of a security thing to make sure that there hasn't been any changes on the shares or the interest rate, or, it's just, again, third party verification.
Yeah, okay.
That's all that.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So unless anybody else has any questions. I think Tammy included it in your package there a couple of weeks ago, the financial indicator report. That's what the ministry generates from the FIR. And if you notice, other than the taxes receivable, which we know, everything else is in real great shape. As far as risk, as far as the level of risk that the ministry is concerned. So, yeah. Unless anybody else has anything else, that's it, guys.
We're good.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thanks
Will.
again, guys. And thank you. If Tammy, if you wouldn't mind on Wednesday, sending me a copy of the resolution, and we're good. Okay. So I'll take your word on the statement, so we
Yeah.
can pass tomorrow, because I'd be deep trouble if something happened. Need to, one last thing, I need a signature. Just there. It's a letter of rep that says that you gave me one and only set of books.
The one and only set?
And there's 2 copies. Awesome. All right, thank you.
You just could have done.
They make computers now, though.
I like the paper.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks again.
Okay, Dale.
But so basically, Tammy gave you the staff report, basically in order of what, and she thinks is priority. That's the best way to say it. So the furnace Round Lake rink, as we stated in the past, in the February. I imagine this meeting's over here. I'll have to fire it up. Between Harold and I, we've been keeping it going off and on. Some days it's a challenge, some days it's not too bad. But that furnace needs to be replaced. That's about $6,000. And then the water treatment at the Round Lake Fire Hall. It has to be replaced this year. We have put a board into the old Culligan system, and it's fried it again too. Looked at pricing on that at $5,500. At the same time, I know Bob will touch more in on his all stuff that he wants to do, but basically when we replace that, it'll be a smaller system, so it doesn't take up as much room. So we're going to rearrange that area to tidy it up a lot nicer because of the fact that it is in the back center. So a bunch of cleanup and that in there. The Olympia at Round Lake Rink. It needs a bit of work. We're putting in a potential budget of $3,000. I don't think we'll be quite that high, but there's some work to do on the auger and the chute, and basic maintenance on the unit itself. Side entrance, I know we approved it for last year, but with weather and timing and that, didn't get that done, so it's brought up still on the list of things. Again, we're looking at the same potentials here. Our furnaces are as old as the one that we replaced in Killaloo Rink, Round Lake Rink. Furnaces are just as old here. Looking around the 12 to 15 for those. We do just have an inspection on the outside tank, it's fine, but that's here and there in that aspect of that. Something to be thinking about. Renovations in the old Welk office. I don't know how much I'll be going into detail on that, but we've kind of looked at different options. It can be done in phases if it's an option. Put some numbers in on your sheet there that everybody can see. With the basically the biggest thing to start with would be replacing the windows. The one that's really helped us on heating, and anybody's really looked at them, just fiberglass aluminum frame window, or plexiglass aluminum frame window. There's really not anything to stop the heat and just blowing straight at them. Medical Center Courthouse, again, we had approved to do a bunch of fixture replacements there. Never had an issue with anything. Basically, they had followed us last year, so I didn't replace anything, just not broke, or didn't really want to fix them. Again, we budgeted about $2,000 for that. And then there's the stuff again to be thinking about for next year, the next few years. Shingles on the Medical Center and Courthouse. It does need to be shingled where it wasn't done in 2019. The front section was done with the addition of the front entrance. And we're looking in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $20,000, depending on whether. Basically, mostly depends on the quality of shingle, if we're going to go shingle, or if we want to try and use steel. Obviously, continuing with the work scratch situation, it's something. And then as Tyler was here at the last finance meeting, we discussed trying to get together with Dean and Tyler, himself, council, Tammy, and possibly Tyler Peters to figure out what options we want to look at. Anything on that one. Again, we need to continue looking for grants or options for the wall replacement at Station Park. It is getting bad.
I have a question on that. How much of the wall, retaining wall, did we put up in the creek this year, section wise? Do we know? How big was that section at our cost?
19.
I know what our cost was, but how big is it?
Yeah, there's only in reality of actual retaining wall. There's only about 20 feet of wall, and then there's the actual like armor stone wall. there was other stuff. And yeah, that was around 20,000 for, but it wasn't really a whole lot of wall there.
It's just because to me that wall seemed a lot cheaper than the retaining wall at the park.
Yeah.
And that had the
that wall was
water
surprisingly
and
cheap in the lot.
so I'm just, there must be a cheaper option for the wall at the park.
Any retaining walls on public property over 3 feet in height goes through, needs a building permit.
Oh, okay.
And it would have to be engineered with a guard and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, it will be more expensive because just because of that, like just the railing alone is expensive enough that we have to put up. Like I'd like to still continue looking for grants or options for that, but we really need to start putting something aside for that. Again, we've been looking at grants for replacing some of the older windows in the medical center and the courthouse. And that's about 25,000 if we can find something in the grant wise for that. So we rink renovations. As everybody knows, the roof does leak on a regular basis once we get a little bit of snow, a little bit of ice, because there's not much for insulation in the roof. And the roof is not a very good profile for such a low slope. All of block walls or hollow block walls, some plexiglass windows, we lose a lot of heat. We spend a lot of money heating a building mixed up with some insulation on the outside, re-siding, and basically peel the sheeting off the roof, and re-insulate that, and fix that up quite a bit that way. Like I said, these are all things to be thinking about in the near future, and again, looking at grants. Communications towers, we were hoping that the time of doing those was if we are going to do a work charge, we would replace the communications towers so they're not CSA approved. Not that there's an issue with them at the moment, we just can't put on any new communication stuff, so we can't upgrade our communications before we got. We put some thing overloaded. Municipal office roof. I think we're down to one small leak in Charlene's office, and it doesn't leak very often, but we did have a bunch of stuff done on that, but again, it's an old roof that's getting close. Rink boards around the rink and surface. I think I really need to elaborate too much on that. Everybody knows that they are getting bad, they're getting soft. And public washrooms down here. And I have no idea on the price for that. Like I said, we have not come up with the price. I haven't had a chance. We did order the camera to scroll the lines. Hopefully we can come up with something. I haven't had a chance to do anything that way. The warehouse. So we're currently spending with heat and utilities in there, which we spend about $7,000 on that every year. There's heat, hydro, and that. If we're looking into saving by having some work, if we are looking into saving by having some of the work and equipment inside sitting in the weather all year round, by getting rid of the building, at least it's inside, it's protected, and it's definitely extending the life of the bit of equipment that the work guys have in there. And I know there's a bunch of discussions to be had on that building and what council decides they want to do with it, but the building was determined to be unsatisfactory for a fire hall. As for storage, the way it is, and it was deemed being well past its useful life. As we know, one section has been basically blocked off that people can't go into. If you want to spend something on it, then the best thing to do is bring another structural engineer in to take a look at it and make a decision as to what they think. But like does actually have a decent roof on it. It needs new roof sheeting, but the roof framing is, I believe it's a steel web, fairly similar to what's in the majority of all these older buildings. And then Station Park, my estimate is there is about a 3 to 5 year useful life of the play structure and the wood stuff that is there. We need to make a decision, we need council to make a decision on whether you want to continue using the grow bark, which is in there, which is very hard to get, very expensive. The only place that I really can get it reasonably, what I call easy, is out of Ottawa. And then, like I said, a lot of the wood structure is starting to deteriorate. The stepping blocks are on the outside. They're oak. That's really not the wood buried in the ground. We've already had to take out the climbing tree or whatever that was that was in there. Again, oak rots fast and ground. My recommendations would be to do something like what they did at Brown Lake, at the rink there, and put in a proper play structure that's going to last for years and years and years. The company that did that actually was, whoever was involved in that, I've talked to them. They're a great company to deal with, and we'll work with whatever budget or size that we basically want to do. But that is something that is definitely, I would say, 3 to max 5 years. That's mostly all I got.
Any questions? No questions. Okay, thank you. Well, then let's, Bob.
As I've mentioned to you in one other finance meeting, I didn't put a lot of progressive monies in here. It's been basically a maintenance budget. And if we look starting at where the fire department is in here, the wages start at 1/4/2010, then go down to 1/4/2010-28, we get a collection of wage amounts. Totaled up, that is at $99,524. And if you look at the benefits below that, jump over the mileage element, there's 3 items in there at $16,000. So basically your employee costs are at 116, or as you had indicated at one meeting, they're 117%. Flipping over to page 2, or actually page 6 is actually the printout. The Fire Prevention and Protection Grant at 1/4/2005, which is the 4th one down on that list, is new. And I think that has to do with Coach getting us some money to spend on some good stuff. And if we go down to the insurance item at 4020, the amount I had put in has been raised, so obviously we had bills in that helps it from 43 to 47%, or $47,000. And if you look at the grand totals down here, the total fire department this year is at the 2025, it's at $493,053. Go to 2024, you'll see it's $488,205. So we've actually only gone up by $4,800. Okay, and that's for the basic operations for fire. If you flip a couple pages, let me see where I'm here. Community emergency measures. This is for obviously emergency operations. We have all this EMC stuff here. A couple of things were added to it, which is the emergency preparedness expense for You'll have to explain that one, Tammy, I don't know where that number came from.
It's part of our community safety wellbeing plan. We have hired she's Mara Sullivan, and she takes a look at it and she makes it into a living document, so it's just not sitting on the shelf. So she's active in the community, so that's why we budgeted $3,000.
Okay, so that's the main expenses currently listed there. So from those two aspects, I'm good. But I have a project that's ongoing here, which we talked about before. Get it on the side here. This is the Round Lake Hall, where we look at, it needs exterior work, it needs interior work. We also have to remember that this is an evacuation center. Take a look at these pictures. They're not in any particular order, just where the camera was. At the top of the page is the number the camera gave it. The flooring here is very bad. It's marked up a lot. You see the old shale marks on it, etc., etc. Anywhere that was currently this tile should be replaced. Now, this obviously it's not in the front page, but it's in the washrooms, in the offices, it's in the meeting room. Dale has indicated to me that you can get roll out with a linoleum type thing for about $5 a square foot.
I would probably go with the drop click laminate.
Next page on here, this set of cabinets that were put in a few years ago didn't have a kick plate put in. The next page you're in here is again more marking on the floor from the chairs. Cabinets in the bathrooms and that are, the next page on number 59, they're on their last legs, they need to be replaced. While they're fixing up the walls and whatnot, when it became an evacuation center, we put grab bars in the washroom, but you'll see piping there and down below. That was put in when it was constructed for a urinal, which never got put in. So things like that. We need patching, we need the next one is the shower stall on page 82. I'm not even sure what that stuff is on the bottom. It looks like some type of glue or whatnot. You'll see pictures like this on page 64. This is just dirt from the years and years that it's produced, and the heat coming from the electric heater. On the next page, you're going to see this is the main door in. And I mean, look at the dirt of the exit sign and on the doors. It's chipping off the side of the door itself. The next page you're going to see is 68. This is the water filtration system that Dale was talking about. That's basically not functioning and looks like crap. And this, if you go up to the wall there and turn 90 degrees, this is underneath the staircase for this material. This I don't think would even pass the safety labor code. We get some of the bigger guys in between that stink on the wall. Okay, the next page again is just another one of this filtration system. Page after that on 75, this is again the main door. It's chipping off the tape in the corners, it needs painting, cleaning, the whole range of things. The next one was giving us a little bit of worry earlier in the year, 6892. The roof is leaking, and it's away from the edge a bit. And in the distance case was good, because behind those doors is all our gear for the evacuation center. The cots, the pillows, the blankets, the sheets, and everything else that supports. Okay, now, Dale had gone up and had that fixed. Okay, my only concern is if there's a few popping up now, how many more will pop up? It's getting near end of life. The outside actually doesn't need too much. They definitely need to be strapped, insulated, and then put some steel on the outside. Okay, that would cover most of it. Other than that, it's small things like replacing the vents and insulation around the doors and the windows, minor stuff from that expense. So that's what we were looking at with respect to Round Lake. Now, you had given me some numbers to play with Dale to think that maybe the interior might be 20 grand to fix, repair, and paint, patch, the whole coat of paint inside. And the outside maybe 50 to 60,000.
Yeah.
It needs doing. It's been built 1989 without a lot done to it. So I throw that to you.
Those numbers I gave you didn't include the water system treatment, so.
Is that water system, treatment system, is that under your budget or his budget? Because right now it's coming up with both budgets,
That I have in as my budget,
Okay.
the maintenance thing.
so.
Yeah, we don't want to get a double budgeted if that's the restriction we're getting. I mean, this is getting into kind of discussions that we were getting in before with the warehouse at a point, to a point of no return, basically. We don't want to get there. I think we have a few years left, but you'll find spots where the drought is starting to loosen up. And you will save the money on heating if we do the outside. Or you do maybe the interior one year, the exterior another year. I'm just throwing out options and thoughts. But it's not a welcoming place if I have to put distressed families in there.
Does anybody have any questions for Bob? We're good? Well, I think that's, nobody can finish in 6 minutes, so I think we should have a motion to adjourn.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Carol Field, motion to adjourn the finance committee meeting held on March 17, 2025, for the township village.
All those in favor? Carried.